Hey, welcome to another tech tip, and I'm here today in one of my most favorite programs, and that is Google Sheets. And first I want to say, excuse me if my voice sounds a little off today. I have a bit of an allergy thing going on, but we will persevere. I am in Google Sheets, and I love Google Sheets, and I've been talking to some people who are not very familiar with Google Sheets, so I wanted to do a very basic video on Google Sheets. So let's talk about what we're seeing when we're in Google Sheets. So one of the strengths of Google Sheets is that every single cell has a value. And what does that mean? So this is a cell. So a cell is, an individual part of this table, okay? And they don't call it a table, they call it a spreadsheet. And tables are a whole different thing. There's so many terms with sheets, but let's stay basic. So every cell has a name, okay? And you know its name by looking at the column and the row. So our columns are all alphabetical. So that means they're A, B, C, D. And then if you get past Z, then you go to AA. And then you go to AB. And then it'll keep going until you get to ZZ. And I honestly don't know that I've ever gone beyond ZZ. But anyway. And then we have our rows, which are numerical, right? And there is a limit to the number of rows that they'll let you have, but it is a lot, okay? One of the things that I like to do when I set up my spreadsheets, if you scroll, you lose that top row. And that top row is usually your header. That usually tells you what the information is. So I like to take and come up here to this corner. And you see how this corner is a little bit different. You have these solid lines. You can drag these, and that makes it so that that row will stay up there, right? So you can always see that row. And you can do the same thing with columns. So let's say I want to see the first name, right? And now I can always see the first name with that row. And I can scroll through and say, okay, how did Alan do on task 13, right? Well, Alan didn't do task 13, but okay. So I can see all of that. And that is just really nice visually, okay? The other thing that I can do is, because it's all in cells, is I can do formulas, okay? So every cell has a reference. For example, if I look up here, first name is going to be C1, right? So let's say I wanted to make sure, put first name down at the bottom for whatever reason. I can click the equal sign, C1, and just type it. And now this is equal to that. And if I change this, so if I change this to Fred, now that's going to change to Fred down there, okay? So the nice thing about that is, because this is a reference, it will change with your original data. So let's say you had someone putting in data on one spreadsheet, but you wanted to just reference it, you could do that, okay? And that is a more complicated formula, but we'll get there, okay? So I'm going to delete that. I do want to show you how you can do formulas, because they are indeed the thing that makes sheets so powerful, okay? So for those of you who are brand new to formulas, we're going to go up to Insert, okay? And we're going to go to Function. And you have all of these functions, okay? And probably a lot of the ones that you might use would be math, right? So you're going to use like sum and count, right? And you have all different counts. You can count count blank, you can count if, you can count ifs. So say I want to count the number of seniors and the number of juniors together. That would be a count if. Count unique counts what is totally unique. So one of the things I noticed in here was I had some duplicate users. So I could do count unique. And see, it already is like, oh, I know you want to use the data above this for this. So how many unique people did I have do this? And this is 58. So I have 2 duplicates, because I know there are 60 of them because of the number of rows, right? So that tells me some information, okay? Now let's say I want to take this formula and move it over here. If I drag this, it actually is going to change that to C2 and C61, which really doesn't matter, because in this case, that data is the same. Okay, but let's say that I want this formula to always be this C2. And then I can do this $sign. And this says that I want the absolute value. Okay, so that means that if I drag this formula, whatever I do, I want this to always stay C2. So now if I drag it, it stays C2, as opposed to if I drag this, it's going to change the value. So you see that changed to B3 because I drug it down. Okay, anyway, that's a lot for one day. I hope you'll stay with me on the spreadsheet journey. We're going to dig in some more, and I hope that you enjoy using spreadsheets. Don't be afraid of them. Just understand that every single cell is individual, and you can do things to the cells and do calculations based on them, and it's a great way to organize information. Have a great week.